Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are not already a subscriber, I would love it for you to hit the subscribe button to get updated on my videos on R, research and all things academia. So today I tweeted out this tweet of a graph that I'd come across. The graph was from a think tank and this was part of a public report. So this is something that people had been paid money to do, and I thought it was pretty appalling. I am passionate about data visualization, and you can do a lot of great things with data visualization, but this is certainly not one of them. So I thought I would share this tweet with you and then just break down a couple of the points that I have made. If you don't already, you can also follow me over on Twitter, Dr. Lyndon Walker. So friends don't let friends draw graphs in Excel. This first bit is actually a little bit tongue-in-cheek. You can make perfectly good graphs in Excel. If I had to choose, I would probably use ggplot within R, but Excel is perfectly reasonable to do your graphs. So we can kind of ignore that. It's me being tongue-in-cheek. The rest, though, are some pretty serious issues. So first one, adding lines between categories. This is something that I see quite often, and it is really problematic and generally pretty misleading. So here we have this orange line running from category to category, but this is not a time series, and these categories have no particular order to them. So when we look at any kind of line graph, our eye automatically tries to interpret a pattern. So here it's going down, it's going up, it's going down again, but that's not actually what the data is. The data is 5 discrete values for these 5 categories. If you have categories, they are not continuous, you should not be joining them with lines. Halfway between any of these two categories doesn't mean anything. Halfway between this -6 and this -9 is not halfway between these two categories. It just doesn't actually provide any information at all. So don't do this. That's probably the worst of the things in this graph. Although a close, very close second is using 2 different y-axis scales. So over here we have a change in quantity, and over here we have a percentage change. But the percentage change is a percent for the category. It's not relative to these other groups. So where we have this very big bar here for -3,000, this is 6%. Down this other end, we have -1,000 being 10%. In the middle here, we have -1,700 being 6% again. So the blue bars and the orange line, which we shouldn't have had a line, these are measuring 2 different things, and they're trying to cheat on space by jamming them together, and that is not helpful. If we wanted to show both, possibly what we might do is have these percentages as labels somewhere. Something else we might choose is to not have these quantity labels. If we are going to stick numbers on every bar, we might as well have just had a table. So the whole point of an axis is for us to be able to read off, maybe approximately. We can't get right down to the exact figures, but really these figures could have been in a table instead. So trying to stick the 2 y-axes, measuring 2 different things, I think is really detrimental to this graph. And so the line's no good, the 2 different axes are no good. The last thing that, not the end of the world, but I don't really like, is the way that they've done their labeling. So rather than sticking labels here on the other side of the axis, and because these are negatives, they've decided to make the bars go downwards. But rather than putting our labels there, they've kind of put them almost like little armbands. And that would be fine if they were all three letter and they all fitted uniformly, but we've got others kind of hanging over here, so it just looks a bit messy. We've then, because we've tried to stick it over, they've got kind of the black with the white on the blue, and again, that just is really detracting from what we want to show. What we want to show on the graph, and it is really serious stuff, is that there has been big decreases in university staff from 2020 to 2021. But that message gets really lost with all of this other nonsense that's going on in this graph. So that's a quick summary talking about this graph. If you liked this video, please let me know. I have plenty of other examples of bad graphs that we can have a look at. Possibly what I could also do, I haven't for this one, but in future, is actually made the improved version of the graph. So for future ones, that might be something that I can add, is actually some examples of what it should have looked like instead. But this one I'd shared, I wanted to make the video really quickly, and it's something particularly when I see it in reports from consultants and reports from groups where I know a lot of money and effort, a lot of money has been spent, effort has been gone into the research, and then it's just presented in this poor manner. So don't be like this. Make sure you put some time and effort into your data visualization. If you want to get started with R, there is a link to my SkillShare down below the video, and some other links that might be useful to you. The SkillShare link should come with a 1-month free trial, and it will get you started with R.